Hey everybody, this is Bill Seaver. I am doing another interview for the blog with video. I'm with Scott Justice. He is my accountant. He is Scott Justice. I refer to him as virtual CFO. That's how you refer to
yourself. That is what I refer to myself as.
Back in the a couple months ago, I actually interviewed a guy who is a gunsmith with Mossy Creek Custom here in Nashville, and about his use of social media to market himself and his business. And Scott does the same thing, and so I'm with Scott today so he can share with you a little bit about what he does and how he has seen social media marketing work for him. And I'm always interested to hear how other people are using it, and I've known Scott for a few years now, and so I wanted you to hear from him today. So Scott, thank you for doing this.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Full disclosure, Scott is my accountant, so if I'm ever audited, if I ever get arrested for tax fraud,
I can't deny it.
You can't deny it, or it's on YouTube. It's no plausible deniability anymore. Okay, so you and I met a couple years ago, and I recommended that you start blogging.
Mm-hmm.
And so tell them kind of how you got into what you're doing, because you weren't on your own when we first met, and you use social media, particularly a blog, to sort of launch your business.
Correct.
And so I think it's a great story of how somebody can use social media for next to nothing. You didn't pay except for maybe your TypePad account to launch your business. So I want them to hear how an accountant can use social media marketing for them.
Well, actually, when I first approached Bill was helping us with our identity and you were helping us with our logo and those types of things.
Right.
And in one of the conversations in setting up the website, I said I wanted to do a letter or a newsletter on a monthly basis, and you came to me and you said, you really ought to do a blog, Scott. And I'd heard about blogs, I'd been on the internet, I knew about blogs, and decided why not give it a try. And then the other little push you gave me is let your blog be the front end of your website. Or instead of a website, have a blog.
Right.
And what I thought about it at the time that I was opening up my company, I was CFO of a major printing company in town. They were being bought by a venture capital firm, and it was my safety net. So I started blogging. And the thing that we talked about was blogging regularly, getting up in the rankings and those kind of things. And what I learned is that my blog was a good front end, and it introduced me to people, and most importantly what it did is it let me show people my authority.
Right.
And I'm almost 3 years into blogging now.
Yeah.
And if you type in virtual CFO Google, I have a #1 or #2 ranking. And then if you go and you run
Are they coming for us?
I hope that isn't the IRS. Right now, we're either #1 or #2 in Google rankings underneath virtual CFO. And then the other thing I've been able to do is I did blog series on topics that are pertinent to small businesses.
Okay.
So if you go and blog and understand the search engine optimization that you do in Google, they try and have like a website and a blog and kind of a potpourri of first page results. Right now I'm on the first page results of a lot of small business topics where people will search for like something about cash flow.
Gotcha.
And my blog will come up because of the blog rankings I have. It will come up on the first search page, which directs people now to the website I have set up that is my equivalent of a brochure.
Okay. Okay. And so would you say social media and your blog in particular you're active on Twitter now as well?
Yes.
Is it generating business for you? And
yes, it is.
Is it 100% of your marketing effort? 50%? And
I'd say social media has something to do with probably 75% of my market.
Wow. Okay.
And 75% of the business is coming in, and I run Google Analytics, so it is neat for me to see somebody searching Nashville CPA, and then you see they went from the website to the blog, and then they end up calling me and saying, hey, I read your blog and I think your blog is great, and probably half the calls I get or half the emails I get that are from prospects bring up my blog.
And I think, and this is one of the things I've talked about numerous times, is that a blog lets people check you out before they essentially can interview you before they ever have to talk to you, and they can determine for themselves if they feel like you know what you're talking about.
Yes.
And you have literally, over these last few years, put hundreds of hooks in the water for people to find you and to check you out and see if they think you know what you're talking about. And I remember probably a year or so ago we were talking, and you even said people are finding you and saying, you know, you look different, you sound different from most of the other accounting type of people we talk to, and it seemed like your blog is your voice. And you, at one point in time, you were posting 5 days a week. Are you still keeping with that?
When I can with my schedule. We just got through the year-end rush, and I went like 3 weeks without blogging.
Yeah.
What I try and do is just 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay. And I know Scott is probably one of the best I've known at just saying, I'm gonna build a series, and I'm just gonna go with this series of posts and just play it out over the course of a week or 2 weeks or whatever. But it's great content, and it totally fits what you do and the people you're trying to reach.
And the thing that I understand is, with my type of blog, people don't read my blog regularly for pleasure. They are looking for, and if they did, you probably wonder about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is that what I have done is, in the blog series, is that people look for things on cash flow and small business. My specialty is small business accounting.
Right.
So, and virtual CFO services. So if they're looking for budgeting, or looking for cash flow, or looking for financing, or looking for bank relationships, I've done series on it where they find it and say, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. I need to go talk to him.
Right. And again, it's just you validating that you know what you're talking about.
Correct.
So, what about Twitter? Any surprises with Twitter?
The thing that Twitter has done for me is that it's a community, and it's true social marketing, but it's social too.
Right.
And through you, I've gotten tied in with the geek community in Nashville.
Right.
And the thing
geek is not a bad word, by the way.
Yes, it is not, because my wife says I'm a geek, so I know it's not a bad word.
Well, mine does too. So I don't know what we can say about that.
That's right. But I've got tied in with the geek community, and through Twitter, what it's done is you establish relationships with people. They know what's going on in your life. They know what you're doing. So when you meet them at a geek breakfast or a meetup or something, you already know the person.
Right.
So what Twitter has allowed me to do is lay the groundwork with getting to know people who not only do what I do.
Right.
Because one of the things I like about being in a geek community, they blog, they do their websites, they do the things that I do, but also it lays that groundwork where they understand what you are, what your services are.
They don't have your specialty, and
Correct.
but they inevitably need what you do for themselves.
Yes.
I'm a perfect case in point. And I'm a disaster without some help.
And I've had people direct message me on Twitter saying, can I send you an email and ask you an accounting question?
Okay. Yeah. And so 75% of your marketing efforts in some form or fashion are tied back to social media.
Yes.
Is that other 25% just word of mouth?
Word of mouth, and I have a very small Yellow Page advertising.
Okay. And have you found it? Because I didn't know that. So is Yellow Pages for you, is it yielding you results? It's
yielding results where people need an accountant, and when I name my company, you know that I branded my CPA firm.
Right.
Because every CPA firm will be Justice and Justice, or Justice and Seaver, or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And I wanted somebody to be able to look in the phone book and say, I know what they do.
Yeah.
So that is probably 25% of the draw I have are people who actually still use the Yellow Pages, or they're using yellowpage.com.
Right. Well, I appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule. This is the busy time of year for you, and I know we've got some things to talk about sometime soon coming up ourselves. So thank you for doing this.
You're very welcome.
You can check out Scott. There'll be a link on this blog post and also here on the video. virtualcfo.typepad.com. Is that it?
Yes.
And then small business.
www.cpa4sb.com.
CPA4SB smallbusiness.com. So you can find out Scott. Of course, I'm Bill Seaver with MicroExplosion Media here in Nashville. Thanks for doing this.
And thanks for having me, Bill.
And thanks for watching.